Hello everyone and welcome back to another Division 2 video. Today we are looking at Festung Gross-Paris in another playing Every Division video. So after this one we only have 120 seconds to go for a D tier, and then we are going to go to C minus tier. So ramping this up relatively quickly. So this, in my opinion, is basically just a better 50-second Sicherungs. Significantly better though, and we're going to see why in a second. So you're also more heavy tank oriented, but don't have the phase locking to C phase. Instead, you actually have a lot of phase locking to A phase. You also have a lot of trashy infantry combined with some actual quality infantry. We also have Panthers and Fallschirmjäger FG42 again. Panzergrenz though phase lock to A and B phase, not to C phase. So that really makes a big difference. Other than that, I think it's similar in some aspects. You still have a lot of trash infantry, you're still lacking some tools. Of course, some tabs are not the same. Your air tab is not the same, not comparable. Your AT tab, of course, is not comparable. So there's definitely lots of differences, but I think if you look at the theme as a whole, I think this is very much where we're going to 50 seconds, but actually a lot better. Because this thing, first of all, you can play Maverick or Vanguard, which I think you should, based on the phase locking that you have and the limitations. You can, if you really want to, I think you can make this work balanced and go arty grind and air spam heavy. This is possible. It can work. I don't think it's the preferred way of going with this division, but you can do it. I think that's a crucial point there. So yeah, now despite the Panthers, you really should not treat this again as a 2K heavy division. You just don't have the tools for it. It's in this regard, it's much like 52nd. This is more close to mid-range maps, despite a lot of the unit selections that you get not really telling you to play those ranges, but it still kind of is where you want to be at. This is not a long-range division. The Panthers are still useful for range where you can zone someone out, but other than that, I think there are more to be used to in closer range areas where you know that you can just block the areas off still because your opponent doesn't have a tool to kill those. And if your opponent has tools to kill those, you have to be very careful with that. That's kind of how this works. So let's go to the recon tab. I do bring the Aufklärer Puma and Aufklärer Panzer IV. Those two are phase locked to A phase and double that. So there's not much options there. I think we need to recon and take it in this thing to get more recon units out of it. There are definitely some options that are available to you here. And you could take this guy to deal with half-tracks and light armor if you're afraid of that. However, I feel like with the Panzerjäger, all the Pack 36s, I'm going to get to that because some of you will probably be very shocked about this, and the Panzer 35S. And we have the Sicherungs West too. I think we don't need it that desperately, and I'd rather spend my points in other things. This thing to bully infantry would just be very, very useful, but the slot costing of this division is a bit brutal in some ways, so and there are some inefficiencies in there. So I do think we cannot really afford this. Because otherwise, 6 points armored just being annoying overall, I think is not a bad thing. It's definitely an option. These things I originally had in there as well. However, the B phase locked. More recon is always nice, but I just found that I actually rather have more infantry than more of these guys. We'll make sure that we have a little bit more recon with having the machine gun truck there as well. So I think that kind of works. Now in the support tab, there is some choice that a lot of you will probably be questioning if you know this division. These guys, the militias. These are absolutely terrible. They really suck. They're not good. They are horrible. They don't do anything good. They throw 2 Molotovs, probably die after the first one already. So why do I still take them? Well, if we just spam them out with a flamer or 2 flamers, we might still win in an area. Second reason, we have the 50mm mortars. So my kind of goal with this, I think we have to work a lot with micro here to work around some of the issues. Combined with the 50mm mortar, I hope that this thing just throwing a Molotov is enough. Is all that we need to do, and then we can maybe still kind of win with those. That's what I'm hoping for. You could definitely decide not to do that and just take the Pioneer and A phase still. and not have any more CQC afterwards. This is what I originally had. Alternatively, you can take any other infantry. I think this one, due to its chunkiness, would actually be a good candidate for doing the mortar thing, where you then send in this. It will suck, but these do enough suppression if the mortar does the heavy lifting that they can still surrender a unit that is almost but not quite pinned, and then surrender it. So I think that could work too. You could take these guys as well because they have an automatic rifle at least. It's also not fantastic, but that could also work. So that there are the options here. These guys, unironically, will probably be better as well because they have at least 2 stands and an automatic rifle compared to 1 stand. And they have more rifles too, more chunky. They don't have the Molotov, but again, the 15mm is supposed to do the heavy lifting. So those are options, I think, if you want to play around the CQC, but you need to use them in combination with the 50mm. If you want to change things and take these out, do not take. If you want to take the 50mm out, do not take these. They're absolutely trash. These things are pretty good, actually. We take them for the AT rifles. The machine gun is worse than the regular Sicherungs, but it's 15 points instead of 20, so I don't care. So this is our half track and light armor defense. More of them would be cool, but I have a hard time fitting them in. These guys are my actual Panzerschreck, so these are not meant to be used at all. Just be aware of that. So this is just for the bazooka. Because I don't take the Panzervernichtungs because it's going to get expensive. It's also expensive in here, but we get 8 of them, so cannot really complain about them. You could take them out, and the other thing is, of course, I can still use them to help holding the line where needed. Then we get a leader and Panzergrenz. Then, yeah, red curve again, bad, so we take them in A phase. In B phase, we get the Ersatztruppen Paris. We spam those out a little bit. We have a leader with discipline, so they are not disheartened if they're under leadership, which is pretty good. Pioneer, FG42. So we have some punch in B phase because these are chunky. The loadout is not terrible for 25 points, so these can actually do quite a bit of work. And then we have enough infantry as it is. We don't need any C phase infantry tank type. As I said, we don't want to over focus on these. French tanks are also a bit of an issue. They're expensive. We have limited activation slots because some of them are expensive, so I wouldn't take those that are not worth it. This thing is good to spam around and pull the infantry, but it's just not worth it. This thing is just always disappointing when it comes to dealing with light armor. It's like the Panhard. It can deal with half tracks. You can't do much more. And this thing, has decent armor and can deal with all the light armor, so this is why I specifically have this support tab. Yeah, the usual tools that you need, and then a 50mm for the reason we disclosed. I think a commander would also be really cool, but it's just too expensive to take because we have a lot of leaders, so the commander would make a lot of sense. Now the AT tab, everything here is phase locked to A phase, which really sucks. This thing is great, we take it. It's only one less to be 100% vetted. Now these, usually they're forced double vet. Here they are single or no vet, and they definitely are better at single vet. But I want to have more of them because we really don't have that much AT, and we need these to deal with light armor or heavy armor up close. Marder, Panzer IV must take. You could not vet that. That's definitely okay as well. But I think the extra performance is really helping us here since we don't have that many. Begin with A8 tab. This is another one where I think you can go. In 2 ways. You can definitely take this in A phase at single vet or even triple vet, and having just 3 at not triple, double vet, because at double vet this thing actually shreds quite a bit. So remember, it's 25mm, it's not a 20mm. These are quite a bit better, so that would not be the worst idea. Alternatively, you can take it in B phase and get a 6, so that is really going to cover all your AA. In either case, you do have to use the 88s. So the way I set it up right now is I have these as my main AA, so that just to make sure that I don't get completely overwhelmed in the long run. I like to have these for some openness as well because I can use them as dual purpose. And then I use the SKS at 10/4 as well. This is a single 20mm, which is not that good. However, if you can, it is good to just cover some areas against like 20-point recon bombers or things like that. They can do a little bit of work. They might do some work against a Stuka, and you can combine it with an AA to do a little bit more work. I'm not really happy with the AA situation as a whole. You can definitely take this in A phase and keep the 88 and put this in. Oh no, you cannot put this in B phase, so you would need to have an 88 in B phase as well. There's also an option. I'm just not really. I don't want to. If it's going a little bit longer, which balanced versus Maverick, it might still. I don't really want to have to rely on 88s all the way till the end. So I'd rather have some more of the 25 mils. That's my personal preference. Artillery tab. We have one thing that if you want to build this deck for the most optimal, most serious play, I would not take this. But this is Carl Gerät. 600 millimeters off map. It's just a circle of doom. I usually call the rocket off map from the Russians and the SSB the nuke off map, but this is like the real nuke off map because it's just one area, very concentrated spot where just everything is obliterated completely. So this to me looks much more like a nuke hits because it's just one big boom. Get 3 call-ins. It's unlikely that you get them out, but it's fun. So I will also pull this out. I will pull this out when playing this division. I think you have to. It's a lot of fun. If you want to build this builds optimally, you could take more recon. You could take the butter. I don't think you need more artillery. You could take the Hummel if you really want to, or you just decide that you use 2 points somewhere else for more tanks, planes, armor, recon. So they're all valid options. AA. But I think this is too much fun in A phase. We could take these, but I think having radio tools is just straight up better. They have rate of fire is not great, but at single vet it's not one higher. Okay, so I'm wrong. But yeah, I think they're still decent enough. Damage is okay. I want them for the radio really. I could definitely see the mortars otherwise as well, because on second thought, I think I'm just gonna go with the mortars. But that would not be a bad idea as well. These guys, of course, without ammo, because we have the ammo in the support tab. Then in the air tab, recon is just very valuable. I really like it. Due to the limitations in my A tab, I actually take a fighter, which I usually don't. Then Ju-88 in B phase, and then this thing, the Ju-88 cluster, although I am still very much considering not to take it. However, the problem is everything here is kind of phase locked to B phase, except this, which is not a good fighter bomber. So I think you could leave it out and take other tools. But considering that we might struggle a little bit with dealing with armor, I think this might be worth taking. It's very fast, has medium resilience. It has a very good loadout, so this thing really kills and it's hard to kill. So this thing I think is actually really worth taking. It's going to be very useful. So that's, in my opinion, a must take. And yeah, this is how I build it. It's a bit of an odd build. Then again, it's a very odd division. And yeah, I think we're just going to give it a try and see what should be changed after having played it. And here we go. Against Kampfgruppe Walter on Kostritza. I mean, could be worse, I would say. Because we can actually deal with the armor that Walter has. And his infantry is not really that much better. His infantry is better than mine, but it is not like... Yeah, I think I will stand a chance. Now, CQC is going to be a problem. He has more CQC than I do. You have the Milicians, though. Which, together with... Where is it? This might do the trick. I'm going to have to wait and see. I'm a little bit afraid of his MP44 units here, so that's going to be a bit of a problem. Yeah, I still think overall I'm going to be struggling a bit, but... The good thing is... This is a very, very good spot for, where is it? It's dangerous planes. This one needs to be... Artillery, exactly. Here, the offer. This is a very good spot for this. So I think I'm actually not going to bring the recon plane at the start. I'm going to wait till B phase to bring any planes, if possible. So that it doesn't have a, and then that I can actually use that. So if he has anything in here, I could just wipe that. If he has anything in here, I could just wipe that. With Carl Gerät, and Carl Gerät is good. So, yeah, what we could also try to do is use one of these for some kind of transport sniping if doesn't unload his units. If he wants to go aggressive with his units, I might be able to catch him here. Although, no, I'm slower. That might not work. But we could try to get in there. That could work. Early lead there. Maybe that's gonna work. Let's see. So here's where they here's where they're actually pretty useful. I'm just gonna put one in there, and then I can kind of do the be there and make sure that the front line doesn't move. If he pushes, of course, there's not much that I can do about that. But again, the other good thing is the Sicherungs West I don't actually need for being a. I don't actually need them as AT basically against light armor because it doesn't. He has some. Yes, there's annoying half tracks and the drilling. And never mind, maybe I need them, but I think I'm gonna put one here, just to prevent a Panther fast play. Panther Shrek play, because you can, on Street, so you can sneak Panther Shreks through pretty much everywhere. There's usually a way, and I think this is a good spot to kind of try and prevent it. So this is what we're gonna do. He's ready, so he has, so I guess he's just gonna rush one spot, would be my guess if he's that fast. Good thing is we have these for light armor, so yeah. Do we have some options? All right. First things first, recon and fire support. This thing can go in there. Then the recon vehicle can go over here. I'm gonna bring a recon in here, I guess. This is a good spot. This is a very good spot, I think. And then you can move over here. And that could do. Might not. But we're gonna have to wait and see. These I'm actually gonna use for transport sniping and then passive deployment. I think this is how I'm gonna use those. Could also try and use it over here to snipe things, but it's too slow. The line of sight is not really good, so we're not gonna do that. Yeah, we're gonna focus on here. Naturally, this is what we want to do. I'm gonna use some of these there already. Actually, I'm gonna do it differently. Maybe we're not gonna get in, but we're gonna try it nonetheless. We're gonna try to get them in there. Get it with a flames. I think we need to still combine them with some flamers, otherwise it's probably not gonna work. Good. Now flamers in there. This is definitely, when I say I don't want to use this as a 2K division. This is not what I meant by it. we don't want to end up on street side return, but I guess this is what we're gonna do now. So don't really have a choice. But just want to be clear about that. This is also not the map that you want to be playing on with this division. But this map that we're gonna have to play on right now. So take it as it is. Okay, now I do want to have a leader. I do want to have some actual infantry in there. And also bring some of these in there. They can definitely deal with the light armor that he has around. And still do some infantry support. And then we probably want some of these coming in after a while. This is where the MP44s are probably going to be a little bit of a problem, so I might call in an early artillery piece. This I don't want to push right away. Next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to try and get some units in here. Together with one each of those and a 50 mil. Also here, yeah, just put it there for now. We're going to want to have a machine gun here in the open just to make sure that he can't push through there. In here, we could put an IG-18 that could do some supporting, but I'm not really sure how useful that is at the moment. I think an IG-18 over here, though, could definitely give us some good support. And then in here, we're also going to need Panzer. I'm going to bring a Flakkampf up in there right away, leader, and Sicherungs West. A lot of trash, but it's going to have to do. We are going to bring one Milicians here, just to make sure that if he tries to rush in there with flamers, I can stop him, and I think that should do the trick in terms of stopping power. So I'm going to bring one of these in there, and these will need to come later. Yeah, that will do enough in terms of range. So this is where I really want to push. Can we set up anything start that I haven't had there yet? I think one of these AT things would be useful. Don't need more Pumas. I just don't really see the benefit. I think sniping things here is okay. We could try to snipe things here, but he could also just put AT there, so I'm not really sure how well that's going to go. Actually, we can buy some time. We don't need the Sicherungs West. Yeah, we can try and snipe things here, and then once that's happened, we're gonna move him like somewhere over here to support. And this one will go back here. Actually, you can push it here and then just hold. Ready? Good luck, have fun. So yeah, this is, I'm not really sure about this strategy, but we're gonna have to wait and see. I think we could easily have afforded this, but I do want to use Skull Cadet, and it's relatively easy to cover this off with AA. So I don't wanna use it too early. I want to be able to bring this. It's such a fun thing. So ideally, it doesn't bring too much A, and we might be able. If we get force out of this, we just bomb our way in. If we get force out of this, we bomb our way in. It's kind of the same thing here. We're probably not going to be able to use it more than once. Also, again, if you really want to play this super serious, you would not buy this thing. But I just think it's too funny to be passed on. Okay, maybe it's actually going to pay off. It's actually going to pay off, yeah. Alright, we're gonna smoke this right away. Smoke as in shoot. That it. Oh, that's okay with me. Alright. Alright. I like these odds. Like where this is going. Early artillery being used. Is this used as artillery or what? Okay, okay. It's an early Jagd Panther, and that's probably a big mistake. The good thing is he's using his FG42 right now, so in B phase I do have the advantage with those guys. This is honestly, I think this is probably maybe in terms of infantry a little bit of a better map for him than for me, but it's overall still pretty good for me, I think. Alright, now let's find out what we can shell. And shell it. Shall we? Can also start, you know, enforcing this with some proper infantry. Can you please, you should have line of sight. This on should have, but still. Alright, let's get some Sicherungs in there. Let's get some recon in here. I think we're gonna need it. We should start covering this off with something. Should start covering this off with something too. We can start putting down AT emplacements for defensive purposes. Should also start bringing AA, because it's only a matter of time until he starts bringing out lanes to deal with what he can't deal with otherwise. So should also start thinking about bringing a tank over there somehow. Actually, we can just bring the Puma there. That's gonna do the trick as well. Gonna have them in defensive positions. And then I said I needed some tanks here. I want to have you guys in a more defensive position. Let's keep this going, shall we? Fortunately, this thing has really bad accuracy. Two and a half minutes and then we can bring Karl Gerät. I actually want to see first. Or when I bring it, what is there, because I do want to see how it plays up. We can move that. Just move it over here. Can use that on that pack 40 that is over there, if it is still there. Wait, this thing doesn't have the recon? Oh, this is not recon. Interesting. Start defending the center a little bit. No, I always forget that there's this little gap. There's some annoying areas here. This is one of them. Where it's so easy to forget that there's something there. Um, Alright, you're gonna use this. I think we're just gonna bring one of my remaining few Panzergrans over there. I think it's also time opening Flakkampftruppen in here, just, you know, to have them. Oh, AT gun. Don't like that. This we can deal with these guys. We have answers. It's not like we have... No, 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 we don't buy any planes. I could strafe this maybe, but it's only 220 mils, which is not bad, but it's not as good as you would think. This is too much of a spread. So this is, okay, maybe... Hold on, what's the spread in here? Still pretty big, so maybe mortars are the way to go here, actually. Maybe mortars are the way to go here. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit too far. Just a tiny little bit. We can make some pressure here. Shell this and then move in with my militias. That could do. These are cheap, I don't mind putting them up towards the front line. What is this? Ah, it's just a half track. In that case, I don't mind pushing forward against that. Right. Let's get this going. Get proper A in here first, though. I don't want to lose it right away. Let's see. This can even win. Right now, it's probably doing about as much damage than this. And it's also just because it is the Panzer with less carbines. Otherwise, this would be looking very, very different. Yeah, and now it's... Alright, alright. Let's see. Oh. Let's try. Don't think we can do it, but... Okay, this would be an area that might be worth it, or we could kill this thing with Kalgarat. No AA. That's what I want to hear. Oh, now he has AA. Oh, let's land it here. Don't want this to die, so... I also get 10 years. Und Ersatztruppen Paris. It's pretty cool. I get these guys everywhere. Leaders as well with it. Let's get a tank rolling here. Make sure that we are here when it hits. Oh, Wolfram. Okay. Okay, your pushing power is not gonna... it feels so bad, but look at this. It looks so good. You feel evil when you do this, but damn, does it look cool. I mean, what can you say about it? What can you say? We can also try to get the Wolfram with the Puma, maybe. Fat finger to the H button. Oh, Flamer got in. Love that. Let's see what's there. Let's see what's there. As soon as my recon planes are repaired, I'm going to do the same thing here again. And then we're going to push. So we're going to bring up some units in here. Together with a leader. And one of these. We're going to get 2 of those ready nice and quick. And then we're going to use Kalgaret over there. Oh, this is out of... Oh, no, it's not out of ammo yet. FG42s. Go in here, here. Some pioneers in here. Then FG42 probably in here. Alright, and let's see if we can find that Wolfram. No, no. Okay, I think it's gonna go down. There's too many of those here. Yep. Damn it. Would have been really cool. But, I guess it was not meant to be. Okay, there's an LG. It's good, so then I know that this is there. Are we actually going to use this aggressively now? No, we don't need to. Okay, we're gonna bomb this area right there. I think this would probably still be good. Barrage. I just don't think we can... I could kill it. Doesn't though. I got lucky, I guess, by the looks of it. Wolfram will be pricey though. Like, that is gonna be expensive for me. We can bring one of these in there. Keeps doing damage over there. Alright, let's push. Alright, we can fight that. If we grab this, that's an 18.6. Let's go again. See what we can do. That's okay, I got Flakkampftruppen here. No, we're not gonna get another one of these off, I guess. Ooh. That felt bad. I don't think he knows. I think he's a new player. It's also a little bit of a short one, so I'm not really sure if that's gonna be posted or not. Yeah, I mean... Oh, never mind. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. But yeah, I mean, what should we say? I think he made a lot of mistakes, which is especially that Yak Panther. That's such a big investment for nothing, which is why I got an easy win. So I don't think we really see the limitations of this division, but I think looking at the game, this map is definitely or could have potentially been problematic. You get bogged down really quick in infantry fights. This infantry is kind of an infantry spam division, but it's not a good one, so and it doesn't really have a lot of CQC. So that's definitely a problem. Second issue is, of course, the AEA situation, because on Costa Rica, that is like the one area where you really can easily, or where you want to focus your airstrikes on. So you want to focus your AE on there as well. If you only have 88s, which kind of, want some open grounds to be used at a maximum efficiency so that you can use them multi-purpose. That's not really ideal on this map. So maybe the 25 mil should go to A-phase, but we're going to get into that. All right, we are back here with the deck. So it's now time to talk about the division and the deck, what I think of those after having played it. Now, I decided not to make another game, or actually I tried, and decided not to try any further. I had one against a good player too on Oceanov, who was playing Lessar. And yeah, I was of course playing Festung Gross-Paris, but the issue was that I had to leave, since I'd actually started hailing here and I had stuff outside that I wanted to take in. So, and after that, I just decided that it's okay as it is. So, I think we can still have an idea, and I still got the experiences from that second game that kind of leads me to look at some things maybe a little bit differently, and I will mention these realizations as well. But yeah, I think let's head into it. So I do think that the division is basically really just what I said at the start. It's a better 50-second Sicherungs. So it kind of has some similarities. There's a lot of differences too. Let me be very upfront about that. So it's not a perfect comparison, but I think it kind of holds true in some ways. So yeah, but it really is just better. You do have more tools in general to deal with certain issues. You do have, tanks in A-phase, actual tanks, and you have some more medium stuff. So that really helps a lot. But yeah, the division, of course, overall still suffers quite a lot. It is one of these divisions that can't really decide what they want to be. You kind of have this massive infantry tab, and then it doesn't have enough CQC. So whenever you want to have infantry heavy divisions, you need that CQC, because that is part of what sets infantry apart from every other unit that you can fight in CQC range. So that's one of the things that this division really suffers from. And then for range, it also is not really suitable. This is I stand to what I said earlier. This is not a range division. Yeah, you have Panthers, but that doesn't mean that it should be played at 2K range. It's nice that you have those 2K tools. You might need these Panthers up close as well at some points, but which is not great. But you don't want to use it as a 2K heavy division primarily. You also don't have 2KG, and that's a major issue there already. And then on top of that, for the infantry, you kind of lack some good support. You have some tools. We're going to look into some other tanks that we kind of passed on that maybe should revisit. You have this French light tank or the Panzerjäger. It's not that you have nothing, and we have the Puma, but it's just not. It's not on the level that some of these other divisions have in terms of light armor for infantry support. And of course, most importantly, infantry heavy means mid to short range, and we would need more medium tanks for that, which you don't have. But yeah, it is playable. It is playable. We have some issues. It's weird. It's oddly fun, but annoying, but oddly fun, and overall playable. I think this is what my verdict is going to be. Now, what would I change? I spent some time thinking on this, especially after the second game as well, and I think I'm happy to share with you what I think. So let's start with the biggest tab, the infantry tab. I actually think this is fine. I do believe. Now, in the second game, I struggled a lot more because my opponent was microing his grenade throwers really nicely. That But nonetheless, I do believe that the milicians are okay to take. Combine them with the flamers and the 50 mils, and it works. Take the flamers and or the 50 mils out of the recipe, it doesn't work. So you need that combo. You know, the holy trinity here. This is this is needed for this to work. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Now, the good thing is, it's still useful. For example, in that game against that could play Liberal Puerto something. I was in Ocean North and I was on the bad side. So there's this one group of houses where usually the other side always gets that flag. But, you know, having them in a detraction and having units in place that kind of prevent any movement in that area meant that I could actually get in there, settle down, and while my opponent also put something in there, he couldn't actually push forward to try and dig these out, even though that would probably have won it because it was probably a flamethrower. So they have their uses. They're not useless. Also, if you know, you can rush them with the traction into areas, you know, places where there's likely going to be an AT gun or something like that, and you can catch it off guard. That's also very useful. So I think that's okay. Now you could take the Pioneer in A phase. I still do believe that this would be an okay alternative. But then you need to win those forest fights in A phase, so maybe you still want to have the 50 mil around anyway, and then might as well just do it that way, because then it kind of ends up the same. Ish. It's not the same, but it's close enough. So that's what I'm thinking. Now, if you want to play this Vanguard, I think you very much can play this Vanguard as well. I think Vanguard or Maverick both work for this well. I think you can. I still think you could play it balanced if you really, really, really wanted to, but I still don't think this is a smart idea because you just don't have enough medium and light armor to hold out for that. Because at some point, if Panthers are all you can buy, you're kind of screwed. It's not like you get more AT guns either, so that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, so that. But yeah, if you want to play Vanguard, I could very much see the Pioneers in A phase, and then you just kind of hope that you push your opponent out of CQC areas by the end of A phase. But yeah. So this I'm very happy with. Recon. We've realized that this is not a recon unit, unfortunately, or weirdly. It's very odd. I think it should be, maybe a bug. So we're gonna take this just for the vision. Actually, what we can check is optics low. Yeah, no, not recon. Definitely not. It's not just the symbol that's missing. So yeah, we're gonna take the Kubel MG and leave it at that. I do think that more recon in general would be very nice, but I don't really know where to fit it in. I do want to keep this inventory tab as it is. Honestly, I think it's pretty good actually. Tank tab. One thing that I do want to add is those, and there's a specific reason for that. So those can actually deal with light armor. Those can't. We could also take those if you want to have something with a little bit more punch, but it doesn't make that big of a difference. These will still lose to a, as we've seen in the Toulon video, these will still lose out against a Steward. But the reason why I want to take these is because they're so spammable and they can really build the infantry a lot. I just lost a game against Memil a little bit earlier where he used those, and I was playing. Of course, that's also very matchup specific, but I was playing Morskaya, and I, of course, didn't have any army in AFS to deal with those, and they were just super obnoxious. For 5 points, you know, even if your opponent has light armor, he might not have it there, so he needs to buy it just to kill that, or he needs to buy an AT gun, both of which cost at least 5 to 6 times as much as this. So this is phenomenal just to force your opponent to overspend. It's not overspend. Overspend would be if you buy more than you should. But to, you know, spend points in expensive units that he afterwards will probably not need. So in that regard, these are actually pretty good. So I think if you have the room, you should take them. So we're going to have to see if we can make that room. Support that, we'll leave it as it is. Again, I think Commander would definitely not be a bad idea for this division, because I feel like you kind of go, you know, with 2 leaders and other infantry heavy, it really pays off having it. But I just can't find room for it. I do think having these 2 is great. This is a must-take for we've talked about it. This is a must-take anyway. What I would do definitely is put this in the horse though. I have no idea why I put that in the Kubel in the first place. Probably switched some things around and then ended up getting some more horses that I originally didn't have. Something around those lines probably. But yeah, and then that's good. Now this thing, if we can bring down the horse, it would be great, but I don't think we can. Oh, maybe that's why. So one thing that we could do is take the leader here in the Kubel. And we get 6, and then we might find room for more. Maybe. Honestly, if I have to decide, I rather have this in the Kubel and have this thing in the horse, because I think after both of these games, I don't think we need 10, 12 of them. I think it's just too much. So I'd rather have them perform better. Yeah, 8 at single vet is going to be just fine. Or also, by the way, I would definitely keep taking the Flakkampftruppen over the Panzervernichtungs. I think in terms of slot costs, it's the same, but you just get many more of those and they do the job just fine. So I don't really see a reason to change that. And if you really need more infantry in areas where you also need the bazooka anyway, this is just really nice to have. Otherwise, AT tab is going to stay the same. Marder, no vet, single vet, that's definitely up to you. But I still prefer it single vet, even though we have low numbers. The A tab. So here's the thing. In the second game, I definitely realized this. Having those in A phase would be really nice, because if you want to stop an actual plane, only having the 88 really sucks. Only having this also sucks because they won't stop the planes. But if you have one of those at single vet, a double vet Tavekov just I'll actually get 3. It's not the same as the Russian ones. I could be sold on that. I really could be sold on that. I think. But then you just don't have a lot of depth. That's kind of my issue with it. But maybe, and then we have 88s from B phase onwards. But 88s can be useful in some spots. So not really sure about that. I think we just leave it as it is. 88s are okay enough. Then we have it in A phase multi-purpose. And in B phase we have these as double vet. You could definitely do it differently. You can also just take everything in A phase, but then you have to be very careful not to lose your A. Now artillery, this thing was barely more accurate than a mortar. And I actually specifically wanted this over the mortar because there's radio and more accuracy, but it ends up being roughly the same. Now it has more damage and more suppress, and the blast is bigger. But rate of fire of the mortar is better. You have the smoke, so I think the mortar just wins. Honestly, I mean it has more ammo. That would be an argument. This thing has way more ammo. That would be an argument. That would be fair. I think it can go either way, but I think I'm just going to go with the mortar next time. That's not a hard rule though. Both are okay. Now this one, if you want to play in a very optimal build, I would remove it. And then for that, in return, I would take these. However, I think they're really fun. So, this thing is really fun. So I would want to keep it in. But I'm going to remove those discs because I end up not using it anyway most times. So I'm just going to put these in there in return for the fighter. So you probably still want to switch around here. Now, one thing that I've also noticed is that you could potentially remove these if you really want to keep this, because the thing about this is you need there to be no AA if you really want to use it effectively. So as soon as there's going to be AA, this is basically useless. So if you buy a recon planes at the start, your opponent will bring AA, and then this thing is useless. So is there really a point in having them? I don't know. But yeah, gotta leave it at that. I think having the recon planes is still nice. They can also scout ahead to see if the area is clear, because they will, if they're not going to get shot down, which they shouldn't, then they can still be useful for you to spot things, and then you know that this is not safe for this. This is kind of like I did in this game, right? This is how I think they can still be of use. And yeah, I think overall this is, in my opinion, how you can build Festung Gross-Paris and be successful with it. Is it the best build there is? Probably not. Again, there's things you could tweak. I'm sure other people build this differently. This thing here, I would definitely change around. The AA situation, I'm not really happy either way, but maybe this is not the best way because having them in A phase is probably better. But yeah, Anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a great day and see you next time.